Welcome everybody to a very special rated R report where we'll be breaking down the NXT Breakout tourney. I'm your host, the General Jerry Slaughter. With me as always, Stephen R. Osborne. And our special guest for the first time, making his first appearance on AfterMatch Wrestling, the good brother Chris Willis. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great, Jerry. How you doing, Stephen?
I'm all right.
Oh, we're doing fantastic. This past week on NXT, we got an announcement that we're going to be getting the Breakout tourney from William Regal. So 8 superstars that we haven't seen really on NXT television yet that are going to be vying for not only a spot in NXT, but also a title opportunity at any point that they want, which is a pretty awesome prize and also a pretty cool chance to get some television exposure. So, what are your thoughts on this so far? Or
here's the thing.
Yeah.
They might be saying one of them gets a spot on NXT, but we're talking about an NXT roster that has been bled heavily by the main product. And I guarantee you it's not just going to be one of these guys that gets a spot on NXT. There might be a good chance that all 8 of them end up with spots on NXT at some point in the near future. Yeah. But we're going to break this tournament down, and everybody's going to bet, I guess, or predict.
We're not going to say bet. We'll just...
We got to think of a bet by the end of the show.
Yeah.
Something that the winner gets, or the worst loser. No.
Either way.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So let's start at the top here.
With the first match that we've already been introduced.
Yeah, we've gotten an announcement for next week's NXT television taping that Angel Garza versus Joaquin Wilde is going to be our first match of the tournament.
All right, so Chris, you being our guest for the first time, I want to know what you know about these two gentlemen. We're going to start off with Angel Garza.
I've heard a little bit about Angel Garza. I know he used to wrestle for Impact Wrestling back in 2017. Yep. I know he is the son of the late, great Hector Garza.
Yes, he is. Well, big staple in WCW's cruiserweight division that they had for the longest time, and also was the one of the former commentators for TNA Impact.
So let's set the stage here. I know nothing about any of these 8 guys. I didn't even write down their formerly known as names.
His opponent for NXT this coming week, his opponent is a former wrestler, DJZ. He used to wrestle for Impact Wrestling. I believe he was a former X Division champion, I think 2-time, and a former tag team champion as well.
Yep, with the Bromans. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Robbie E. and Jesse Goddard.
Actually, he was only just a manager type, so it was not a free bird rule.
Oh yeah.
So Jerry was tasked with a little bit of background on these guys, and we're gonna get that. Let's go first with Angel Garza, and then we'll move into Joaquin Wilde.
Pretty much, he's got he pretty much got Joaquin Wilde and Angel Garza nailed. Angel Garza, 6 foot, 212 pounds, wrestled mostly out of the Mexican Indies, and then made his name more or less in Impact Wrestling and trying to continue his family's legacy as a pro wrestler. One of those second, third generation talents. His family's probably been wrestling just as long as wrestling has been in existence. And then you have Joaquin Wilde, 5'7", 170 pounds, so big size difference between the two.
Yeah, but former 2-time X Division champion. I'm reading your notes here.
2-time X Division champion, former tag champion, also wrestled on the independent circuit before anything else under the name Shima Zion. It was very glamorous, had kind of Rick Martel, David Bowie type vibe going for him. A lot of his moves that he had were inspired by hymn lyrics.
So I'm going based off of name alone.
Yeah.
The cooler name gets the win in my book because I know nothing. I was gonna look at the size difference, but it's only a couple of inches, and at this point it seems like Joaquin Wilde has got both the experience and the high flyer capability to overcome just a few inches of height difference. Angel Garza is no bigger than me. He does way more. But I'm gonna go with Joaquin Wilde here. What about you, Jerry?
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I think it's gonna be kind of like a high flyer type match naturally. A lot of map-based stuff probably out of Angel Garza, but a lot more high-flying out of Joaquin Wilde. But I think in the long run, he's going to catch them off guard, and Wilde's going to win this one and advance to the tournament. Okay, Chris, you're up.
I'm going to go with Joaquin Wilde as well. He has the experience, he has the name value in the independent scene, so I'm going to go with him.
Okay.
All right, let's finish up that bracket. To be fair, we don't know what match is going to come in 2 weeks' time. They might start the other bracket and do Loomis versus Reed, but for our purposes, we are breaking this down. So let's finish up this bracket. Let's go with Jordan Miles versus Boa or BOA. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I think it's Boa. But, okay, so tail of the tape here, and this is going to be such an interesting dynamic. I'm going to love it. Jordan Miles, formerly known as ACH on the guy is a journeyman and a half dude. Chikara, Combat Zone Wrestling, Dragon Gate USA, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. The guy has been fucking everywhere. And he's actually wrestled already a match for NXT, but it's like it was back early on, and it was actually in April, and it was a dark match more or less against Kona Reeves, which he lost. And then he also was a tag champion with Ethan Page in Evolve. So he's 5'9", 190 pounds. And then we have Boa, who has the distinction of being the only Performance Center guy that they have actually going. This guy was trained by Robbie Brookside. He is straight from the Performance Center, but he's been wrestling dark matches and other matches for NXT since 2017. His first match with the company was in July of 2017, where he was with No Way Jose, and get this, they beat Steve Cutler and Wes Blake.
What are his stats?
He's 6'4", 220 pounds.
Yeah,
and he's also a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I think it's fairly obvious here. Is it obvious to you, Chris? Who are you going with?
I'm gonna go with ACH. I mean, his
Jordan Miles.
Jordan what?
Jordan Miles.
Jordan Miles. I'm gonna go with him because he has more name value. He's been to a lot of independent wrestling matches in companies in the past.
Yep. I think with this one, I think as much as I want to say him, I'm going to say Boa, because since he's actually a homegrown product out of the Performance Center, and they're really pushing the Performance Center at this point. They really want to show it's like their homegrown talent is actually better than the independent talent that they're bringing up. So this guy has got all this experience and everything, and ACH, if he doesn't come into NXT, he's 190 pounds. He can go to 205 Live and just freaking dominate. So I wouldn't put it past them to put Boa over ACH in that one.
Yeah, so is that your pick?
Yeah, Boa.
Boa. I agree. Jordan Miles, the fact that he's like a traveling wrestler.
Yeah.
He's not going to be held down in NXT.
No.
I don't think. Not for where he would actually inevitably get pushed.
Because Triple H has got like Pull and Evolve and WXW at this point. So he's going to be busy as hell regardless of where he gets put.
Boa is 6'4".
Yeah.
And he's homegrown talent. I think they push Boa, and they are using Jordan Miles at least half of the 23 places that you talked about him wrestling in.
Yeah.
They're going to mention on that program.
Oh, that's all Nigel's going to be talking about.
So that when Boa beats him.
Yep, it'll be that much more important. And the fact that they'll probably have such conflicting styles, because ACH is very fast moving, very high flyerish, and then you'll have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background of Boa, and that's what we're probably ultimately culminating using.
So should we finish off this bracket, or should we?
I think we should go to the other side and and then do semifinal matches after.
All right, let's start at the top. Dexter Loomis,
our favorite name.
Dexter, yeah. Versus, in a very close second is Joaquin Wilde, but
yeah.
Bronson Reed.
Yep.
It's his opponent.
All right, so Dexter Lumis, formerly Sam Shaw in Impact Wrestling, artsy type, which is pretty cool because like he used to draw, and he also had this whole angle where he was obsessed with Christy Hemme. That's what I remember mostly about him. But he was trained by not only the Dudley Boys, but Curtis Hughes, 6'1", 240 pounds, the first and former TNA Gut Check champion. He's already wrestled one match with the company at a live event against Fabian Eichner, which he lost. But since then, I saw him on a exclusive on WWE.com where he was just backstage drawing, and Eric Bugenhagen endorsed him. He's like, "I like you."
Yeah,
so then we have Bronson Reed, formerly Jonah Rock, kind of unknown. He's an Aussie wrestler. He's 5'11", 275 pounds, and he's actually wrestled in NXT before as Jermaine Haley and lost to Riddick Moss. But that's all I can really find on the guy, short of like a whole list of stuff that he's done in Australia. So he's like the furthest one from anybody else I've seen so far. That's kind of more less known.
Okay, so after dropping all that information on us,
yeah,
who do you call here?
Well, I definitely see Dexter Lumis coming off on this one. I see Lumis being pushed because he's got the charisma and he's also got the...
He's got the name.
He's got the name. Dexter Lumis. What kind of fucking awesome name is that? So I'm going with Dexter Lumis on that one.
What about you, Chris?
I like the accolades that you brought up, Jerry. He used to wrestle for Impact Wrestling. He had a great gimmick.
Oh, yeah, he had a fantastic gimmick.
It was a great gimmick. I'm surprised he never won the Impact Wrestling Television Championship. Sucks, but I'm going to go with Dexter. He has the name value. He has the experience. Is it true that he wrestled for Ohio Valley Wrestling as well?
For a year, yes. He actually wrestled there for a year, but then after that he was kind of like released from there and just started doing his own thing again. So, yeah, he was there for a year.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to agree based on name alone.
Yeah, the name alone, Dexter Lumis. You're pretty much on a Dexter kick anyway. You're watching the actual show Dexter,
Yeah,
so
I'm finishing up season 5.
Oh, season 5 was beast.
So I got 3 more to go.
Yep.
And I haven't seen Dexter yet.
The ending of the series has already been spoiled for me by some comedian or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, but even then, like it's not about the magic show or knowing the magic tricks. It's about watching the show itself. So.
Oh yeah, it's still a great show. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna go with name alone because Bronson Reed sounds more like an '80s TV.
Well, the dude's former name was Jonah Rock.
So let's finish off the first round with Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Cameron Grimes.
Weirdly enough, I think this is a match I'm actually looking forward to the most. Because you have Isaiah Swerve Scott, 6'1", 190 pounds, debuted back in 2011, wrestled in Combat Zone Wrestling. He was a 2-time Wire champion, which is their television championship. And then he's also wrestling Evolve, Major League Wrestling, and he was also Killshot in Lucha Underground. And then you have Cameron Grimes, who was trained by the Hardys in Omega. And he was in Impact Wrestling for the longest time, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and he's been training in NXT since February. He's been becoming more acclimated with the WWE/NXT style. He's 6 foot even, 215 pounds.
So very evenly matched.
Oh yes.
I was gonna go with the name, but in this case, I think the accolades put Cameron Grimes there for me. I'm gonna go Cameron Grimes.
Is it because of the beard?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know what they look like.
He rocks the beard.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's apropos. What about you, Chris? Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Isaiah Scott.
Isaiah Swerve.
Yeah. Shane Strickland, great guy. Got to meet him back in March of this year.
Jerry.
With me, I'm also going to go probably... Ooh. That's tough. It really is, because those are two really great talents. Because I've actually watched a bunch of Trevor Lee matches, and I've seen a lot of Shane Strickland stuff. That dude could take a lot of punishment. Anybody coming out of Combat Zone Wrestling has the potential of fucking you up. Because, like, they go through barbed wire, they go through glass, they go through, like, rigorous, like, cruiserweight matches. Any kind of match you could think of. Drew Gulak for the longest time. He was the champion there, and he was like doing the whole getting away from the ultra violent and wanting people to embrace wrestling again. He was doing the same gimmick there that he is more or less now doing in 205. But if anything, I think we're going to get a win out of Cameron Grimes in that one. And Swerve, he'll be a better fit probably on 205, I would think. So. Oh, that's another one that I think would be great for there. You're saying something, Chris? Because I can see you.
I just said, wow. Like, I'm surprised you said 205 Live for him, but I don't know, man.
Why not? Go ahead and explain, because I'm actually interested.
There's a lot of cruiserweight wrestlers in this tournament. You know, a lot of the wrestlers can go to 205 Live.
About half of them.
I can see Isaiah Scott being a great future for NXT.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like both those like names would actually be fine for NXT or 205. That's what I'm saying. Like either way, these guys are gonna have a spot in the company and they're gonna do great things. So like this tournament isn't the end. If anything, it's gonna be determining where they fit at better.
Possibly, and who's gonna get over as a face versus a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that. That's one of the things I wish I knew going into this tournament was who was going to play the babyface and who was going to play the heel in each of these opening matches.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's call that real quick before we go into the semifinal match. Who do we see being the face and who do we see being the heel in the Garza versus Wilde?
No fucking clue.
I think Joaquin Wilde is probably going to be the heel in that match.
I agree.
Because Garza's got kind of like a fresh face kind of thing going on, very Humberto Carrillo, very, debonair kind of look to him. And Joaquin Wilde looks like that prick that you just want to punch that does the whole, Jersey Shore kind of.
I think a lot of these people's roles are going to highly depend on who's getting pushed and as a babyface or heel. For instance, let's say they want Joaquin Wilde to win, but he needs to be a baby face to face the heel. Like maybe Boa is going to be an extreme heel, and they want him to win, and he needs to face a baby face.
Yeah.
So Angel Garza wins because he's or Joaquin Wilde has to be a baby face because he's getting the win and the push.
I think they're all going to be represented as tweeners until something actually gets decided. Probably in the semifinal matches when their true colors will start showing.
All right, so let's go to the semifinals for, well, we were just talking about it. So let's go, for all of us, it'll be Dexter Lumis, and for Chris, it'll be Isaiah Scott over Cameron Grimes for you and I.
Okay.
Chris, who do you have winning between Dexter Lumis and Isaiah Scott?
Like I said, I'm going to go Isaiah Scott to win the semifinals. Sorry, nothing personal against Dexter, but I see a bright future for Isaiah Scott in NXT.
What about you, Jerry?
Okay.
You've got Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes.
Oh, that's going to be a vicious match. But I'm going to put Cameron Grimes over in that one as well. I think with him, he's going to be one of those talents that just kind of fits. He's got that mystique and everything to him, and he's also got the name value to the point where they're like, okay, these are the people Impact is letting go or whatnot, and I think it's going to play a factor in there. I think Cameron Grimes is actually going to be pushed pretty heavily in this tournament.
You won me over. I was going to go Dexter Lumis just to be different, but yeah, I think Cameron Grimes is going to defeat the pure name value of Dexter Lumis. What about on the other side of the bracket? We've got all of us with Joaquin Wilde, and then you and I with Boa, and Chris, you've got Jordan Miles. Chris, who do you see, Jordan Miles or Joaquin Wilde?
I'm going to go with Joaquin Wilde to advance in the semifinals.
Okay. Any specific reason, or?
Just name value. It makes sense. You know, he was a popular signing for NXT.
I was about to say they actually did break a pretty big deal, but when he actually got brought on, so.
Yeah, I think Boa winning in the first round is where his push stops as, you know, a homegrown talent, and they actually push somebody that's believable to face, or in our case, Cameron Grimes. I'm going to agree, Joaquin Wilde. What about you, Jerry? We got 3 for 3.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a former Impact star versus former Impact star for the finals, and that's gonna be so weird.
So in the finals, we all have Joaquin Wilde on the right side, and on the left side, Jerry and I have Cameron Grimes. You've got Isaiah Scott. You're our guest. You get to go first.
This is why I like to be spoiler free when it comes to NXT, because I have Isaiah Scott winning this thing.
Yeah.
To win this tournament. So it's going to be a great match. Hopefully it might be on the takeover or be on the last episode of the tapings.
Yeah, if we do, if they do one match a week, I believe we will make the finals at NXT Takeover. I don't see why you wouldn't have the finals.
Actually, if not one of those 5 matches, it'll be like at least one of the dark matches prior to the.
Fucking no.
No.
You don't. You do it on the pay-per-view. That is your 4th or your 5th match. That's not a title match.
Correct. I agree with Stefan.
If you're gonna draw it out that long, you fucking do it on the takeover.
Damn right.
I'm not disagreeing with that statement in any way, shape, or form, but I'm saying if they do that, it should be like the main event of the tapings before the actual takeover show. So it's the first match we see, actually the last match we see on the next
I think the
NXT
timing is too perfect. I think that is the reason they had to have one episode taped at a live show that came after the pre-show dark matches from the NXT takeover tapings.
Oh, absolutely.
So this was planned. I'm going to be extremely disappointed if the finals match doesn't happen at Takeover.
It needs to be on the takeover, hands down.
With that said, I'm going to go with Joaquin Wilde. In this case, name value.
Yep.
Awesome name. Second best in the tournament. Because I don't know anything about any of these guys other than what Jerry has told me.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry, finish this off, man.
I have to go with Cameron Grimes. That way we each have somebody different.
Nice. So those are our picks, and we will see what happens. Hopefully we'll remember in 2 months' time to go back and review this.
Support, no DQ.
So our next idea here is we're harking back to WWE Stomping Grounds predictions, and we'd like to predict how this show could actually be entertaining.
Yeah.
Instead
of just like a heavily, like, we'll just call it the rematch card, because half the matches were...
I call it rematch grounds.
I think it's literally 2/3 of the matches. 6 of the 9 matches are rematches from the last couple of months.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it like a rated R remix where everybody remixes the show on their own. I just figure between the 3 of us, we ought to be able to make this show slightly decent.
Yeah.
Let's start at the top. What do you think would help the WWE title or the Universal title match, Chris?
Oh wow. Damn. I got nothing. Came out of nowhere. Okay. How can the Universal Championship match end the Universal?
Or the WWE, like you could switch out Ziggler for anybody, switch out Corbin for anybody, or if you want to keep either or, how do you make this entertaining considering both of these were matches less than 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
At a sort of pay-per-view event.
I don't understand why Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler is in a steel cage, and not too long ago we just had a steel cage match with Shane and The Miz.
Yeah.
Why add another steel cage? You could have added a better stipulation like a last man standing match. That'd have been a lot more better for the WWE Championship.
They're terrible at that. So that is the easiest thing to fix if you're going to keep Kofi versus... Because I'm not against another Kofi versus Ziggler match.
Yeah.
Honestly, they put on a good match.
Well,
correct.
Yeah, they're two solid performers. They always have been.
But I agree, a steel cage makes... They always talk about how a steel cage keeps people out, but they're allowed to keep the door unlocked.
Yeah.
I think if it was a steel cage where the door is locked and there's two ways to win, either a fall in the ring or you escape the cage over the top. None of this door bullshit. That door thing is stupid. I think it's only there for like 400-pound plus guys that have to go out through the door like the Big Show.
Yeah.
Although we've probably seen the Big Show climb the cage.
Probably have. But here's my beef with any kind of steel cage match or elimination chamber match or Hell in a Cell match or hardcore match. And I think you're getting to see what I'm getting at this point. Is if you're going to have like a violent match like that, there needs to be blood involved. It needs to be a blood feud. The whole idea of steel cage matches and whatnot, yeah, is to keep the opponents inside the steel cage. And you have this unforgiving metal and like all these different things that you can use and everything, but there's no blood involved. There's really no passion. It's just guys hitting each other over the head with stuff and just landing hard on things.
Oh, they don't even hit each other over the head.
Yeah,
with stuff.
you can't even do that anymore because of the concussions and whatnot. But with steel cage here, I see why they implemented it, and I'm hoping this is why they implemented it, because you and I were discussing this on the way here. Because a little while ago, I was on No DQ Live talking to Aaron, and we were discussing the whole Big E turning on Kofi Kingston at the pay-per-view. So maybe have Big E try to come out there and help out, but then like my pick to do a swerve would be Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods would turn on Kofi Kingston and either cost him the belt or almost cost him the belt. And that way they literally slam the door in Kofi's face. That's the reason why I think we're going to have the steel cage there. But otherwise, Kofi and Ziggler in steel cage doesn't really make much sense to me. A ladder match would make more sense for the two, I think. And that would more or less steal the show. Because
that would be awesome.
Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match instead of a steel cage match.
That's got my vote.
That would be sick.
That's got my vote. How would you do it?
Those two have been in the ring in a ladder match before, but there was another man, Jack Swagger, back in TLC 2000, I believe. Yeah.
Nice.
For the Intercontinental Champion. The Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah,
yes, for the Intercontinental.
That wouldn't shock me at all, because even Dolph Ziggler kind of has modeled himself kind of like almost like Shawn Michaels in a way. His career kind of trajects. But at the same time,
should have been me.
Yeah, but he talks like Raven. But the way his heel turns go and his face turns, I think Dolph Ziggler is going to be one of those guys that's around for a while, but he'll never really do anything until he actually wins the title and actually can do a long-running heel turn or a long-running face turn, because he's always so back and forth with it. He needs to find a gimmick, stick with it for a while, and this could be the start of it. So, but a ladder match would be so much better for these two than a steel cage. And even then, you could have that act of betrayal too, and just have Kofi get pushed off the top of have the ladder pushed over or knocked over in some way, shape, or form. But steel cage is pointless.
That's got my vote. What about you, Chris? You think ladder match?
A ladder match would have been a lot more better, but we've seen a ladder match at Money in the Bank. So double booking more ladder matches at a pay-per-view would have been pretty pointless.
Well, no,
but
it's
to make the pay-per-view better, it makes sense.
Well, it's appropriate. When it's appropriate, I think you can use as many as you need. That's the thing. I think Aaron was talking about this with somebody on his live show today, where pay-per-views end up causing matches as opposed to the matches being inserted in pay-per-views as needed. So you've got Hell in a Cell. You have to have 1 or 2 Hell in a Cell matches. So now you have to build the last 4 to 5 weeks of programming before it to build 2 Hell in a Cell matches, as opposed to it just being natural to the storyline and say having Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania or SummerSlam because of a particular storyline.
Yeah, having pretty much a gimmick as to be the actual pay-per-view is not that great.
But I mean, think about back in the Attitude Era with the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian. There was ladder matches all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It didn't water down the next ladder match. You were just looking forward to the next series of things that they did with a ladder. Like the crazy fucking shit that ended up costing Joey Mercury's career.
Armageddon
in 2006.
So let's go with a ladder match for that main title match.
Yeah, for Ziggler and Kofi. Yeah.
The other one is Rollins and Corbin, and I don't think you improve this match without just exiting Corbin altogether.
Yeah.
I have what I think is a brilliant idea for how to end this match, but I want to go to...
No, I want to hear this first.
No, really?
No, you have to go first. It's a brilliant idea.
Oh, this is brilliant. Okay, so, Lars Sullivan. And I know you're going to be like, well, he's getting this push, and he hasn't had a technical loss yet, really. Why would you do this when you know you want Rollins to keep the title? But do you want Rollins to keep the title? Do you want him, Lars Sullivan, to get the title this quickly? I don't think either are the answer. I think the answer is Lars Sullivan either gets himself disqualified or the match never even starts, and he demolishes Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I mean, it tells a story that he is such a monster that he doesn't even care about letting the bell ring so that he can pin for the title. He just wants to demolish Seth Rollins and prove a point. And he goes to leave, and fucking Brock Lesnar comes out.
Yeah.
He cashes in Money in the Bank. He gets the title. And immediately, Lars Sullivan comes back to the ring because he is mad that Lars Sullivan came out and took advantage of what he did.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's got another point to prove now. Because there's a new champ.
Oh, that's true.
And he attacks Brock Lesnar and leaves Brock Lesnar laying.
That'd be awesome.
And then our main event for SummerSlam will be Brock Lesnar versus Lars Sullivan for the Universal Championship, where Lars Sullivan actually wins the Universal Championship off of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar passes the torch of the Beast to Lars Sullivan.
That's a pretty tall order, but I think it'd be pretty badass to watch.
That's what I bring to the table. For this match, at least.
Vince McMahon's wet dream.
That is definitely a genetic jackhammer jizz moment.
I'm just saying, it would have been so much better if Lars Sullivan and Brock Lesnar could happen at SummerSlam.
Oh yeah.
For the title, and then Lars gets the title, and then you push him from there, and you just see what he can do. Put Paul Heyman by his side.
All right. So, what do we do with Rollins versus Corbin here?
What would I do with Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship?
Yeah. Do you think there's somebody more viable, if anything, to be facing off against Rollins?
I feel like get rid of Baron Corbin and put Samoa Joe in that match. That would have been a lot more better.
Are you implying tying up the U.S. title, or Samoa Joe shouldn't have had the title going into the pay-per-view?
Should have never had the title.
I can see that too.
So he gets screwed out of his title rematch or his title up, or just getting the title back, and to pacify him, Shane McMahon gives him an opportunity at the Universal title.
Oh, that'd be awesome! And then we just have Ricochet against somebody else, possibly for the U.S. belt somewhere.
Yeah, a tournament or a multi-man ladder match because the title, or there's another ladder match, a multi-man match because the title is vacant.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mysterio was injured and had to relinquish it. So yeah, maybe it's a 4-man match, and you had 8 participants, and Joe was one of them, but he didn't win the. Like he somehow gets screwed out of his entry match, you know.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, maybe we throw in instead of just having Reigns versus McIntyre, throw in Ricochet into the match and actually have a triple threat match for the vacated U.S. belt. That way, there's actually something in there versus Pride, and you're just not getting another rematch. You're getting, these two against each other, but then the added power of Ricochet and also a belt involved as well.
Yeah, but then who do you have win?
Well, that's a tough call.
Like, that's hard because to me, the only two viable options to replace Baron Corbin, other than say a Samoa Joe, would be Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre. One would think Drew McIntyre because he's the heel, but I think they're saving that. I don't know what you do with them other than just leave them in that match, because even though that's a fucking rematch, goddamn. So make it for the title. But who do you have win? Do you have Roman take another loss? Do you put a mid-card title on Drew McIntyre? I don't think you do that. The last time he had a mid-card title, that was the best he did, and then it was downhill from there.
Or, this is a thought too, combine Reigns and McIntyre and Rollins versus Corbin and make that a fatal 4-way match.
Ooh.
I agree.
Takes a match off the card too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I agree with Jerry.
Because you either make it a fatal 4-way match or a 4-way elimination match, and then just that would be fantastic, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree, because offhand, it becomes really difficult to go back a month or 2 months in time and redo the feuds and put Lars Sullivan in the ring with Seth Rollins. This, however, is much more manageable.
Yep. Because then you have the added suspense of especially if these 4 men are gonna wear the hell out of each other, there's more of a chance of Lesnar popping up at the end and just taking out one of them for the belt.
What about let's go difficult here. What about Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans? Because this is another rematch. I was gonna go the SmackDown Women's title first, but this one seems more difficult.
Yeah.
Because who do you put Lynch with that's on the women's roster on Raw that is going to get anywhere near the heat that her versus Ronda Rousey was getting?
Nobody.
I would say Nikki Cross.
Right now, she's busy being lackey to Alexa Bliss, which is just horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just such a waste of Nikki Cross. Our whole idea was to pair her with Bray Wyatt at one point, and that would have been so much better for her character, and just especially the I Know thing she was doing towards the end of her run in NXT. Just her being a creepy, psychotic best.
I miss NXT Nikki Cross so fucking much.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, she now comes out to Alexa Bliss's music.
Yep.
With Alexa Bliss.
I was watching that over my folks' place this past Father's Day. I was watching Alexa Bliss. I was watching Nikki Cross versus Bayley on SmackDown television because my folks have on demand. So I was watching a SmackDown from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm in the past. Well, I'm at least watching WWE product. So, but I was so disappointed with that match and so disappointed with Nikki Cross at this point, how she was being used. So,
yep.
I see a lot of where the frustrations are lying in the whole use of the NXT names and whatnot, how people just don't want them to go. But, yeah, for, if anything, I'd probably keep Lynch and Evans as an actual match, but I'd add another stipulation to it. I'd pretty much make it a last woman standing match. I would actually have it a 10 count. That way, she would have to use the women's right, and Becky would have to find a way of knocking out Lacey Evans, versus using her armbar thing that she fucking uses. I'm already liking this girl.
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta say no, because Lacey Evans, to me, nothing. I know that's Sidney G's favorite wrestler at the moment. Lacey Evans is not ready. If you can't have a good match with Charlotte, then that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. And I heard she like sandbagged the belly to belly, and I'm like, you're not ready.
Nope.
You're not ready. You bring her to the main roster for so many months, just like, oh, hey, I'm here. Oh, I'm not wrestling. Let me go back. No one's not going to give a shit about Lacey Evans.
Nope.
Nobody.
Yeah.
When she got that spot, it's just like, what have you done?
Yeah, all she did was pretend to come to the ring for so long to, as Jerry said, she was waiting on her moment, on her spot, where she was face to face with the champ, and the only champ, and had the opportunity to knock her in the face because everybody thought she was just going to turn around and leave like she always does. And that's all you got out of like 2.5 months of build-up.
Yeah.
Where she was on every show doing that exact same gimmick that was getting old maybe a week and a half in.
Yeah.
And then she goes right into the main event. And my idea was, let's blur the lines a little bit here and bring in Sasha Banks as the heel.
Yeah.
Yes.
The chick that's bad-mouthing and trying to quit the company, and bring her in. Tell the story that the only reason she was doing all of that was because she wanted, for selfish reasons, she wanted like championship opportunities for herself, and she, lost the tag team titles because of Bayley, and after that she was just done, and then she came back because she doesn't need Bayley, she needs herself, and she wants to take the title off of Beck, something like that.
That actually worked out very well, too.
Blur the lines, because they've sort of been blurring the lines on Twitter all along. Use Sasha Banks and ring her out here before you let her go.
I'm about to say, they've already done a little bit of trickery with us with Alexander Wolf going from WWE to NXT UK. That was actually extremely clever on their part. So, for them to actually have this whole thing playing out where Sasha Banks, for all intents and purposes, looks like she's gone from the company at this point. For her to be interjected in this match at the last minute, that would not suck to me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think anything would be more interesting than Lacey Evans, but this...
or you have Lacey just kind of like tossed out of the match right before the match even starts. Just like Lacey, your services won't be needed this evening.
Well, if we were rebooking from scratch, like, Lacey shouldn't be in this match at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nope.
I feel like you've got Sasha Banks under contract. Use her.
Yeah.
And if you're just going to use her to get beat by Becky Lynch, everybody else is going to get used that way, right?
Yep. And if anything, it'd be nice little, like, if she does end up actually leaving, it'd be a cool, like, a send-off to her to make her look a little bit strong.
The best Sasha Banks is heel Sasha Banks.
Yes.
Yes.
Give her that before whatever. Maybe she'll turn around and want to sign, but even if she's going to write out her
Sasha is a
contract.
great bitch.
Yes.
It's true.
It's damn true.
Remember that moment when she took that little bowl from that Bayley fan and just put it on her head? That was great, and that was perfect.
Yeah.
Heel Sasha is best for business.
Mm-hmm.
So can we go Sasha versus Lynch?
Sasha versus
Yes.
Lynch over that, yes. I'm already telling you right now, I'm loving this card a lot more than I'm actually liking the other one.
Well, that was the point. Do we improve Bayley versus Alexa Bliss?
Fuck no.
No, leave that one alone. I think if anything, that's gonna just make Bayley's initial run with this belt look a little bit stronger. And if Nikki Cross does come out there and cause any kind of interference, Bayley comes out on top regardless. It'll be a really cool spot for this whole thing.
All right. Yeah, I don't see improving that match either, which is sad because you've got Alexa Bliss, who's a Raw star, And I can't think of anybody on SmackDown better suited, because right now probably the only person I'd like to see would be Asuka, but she's in a tag team now.
Because the women's division on SmackDown is stacked.
Oh yeah,
Hands down.
just like the tag team division on SmackDown. Speaking of tag team division,
the wild card rule fucks up everything.
The SmackDown tag team titles are on the line on this show. We've got Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery, and I can think of at least one team on SmackDown that deserves it more than Heavy Machinery, and that's the Colognes.
Yep.
Now, if you go up the ladder from there, everybody else deserves it more than Heavy Machinery.
Yeah. Right now, Heavy Machinery is so gimmick-ridden and everything that I can't even take them seriously as performers anymore. They had that perfect balance when they were in NXT. They were a viable threat to the belt, but they were also like this gag team. But now they're just playing so much to the crowd and everything at this point that nobody can really take them seriously in the ring at all. And that's what's really going to hamper against them for the longest time, is the fact that we can't get that kind of satisfaction out of them, especially against a team of the caliber of Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, who are both fantastic athletes in their own right.
So here's a good question. Do we have to build a new tag team from scratch to face Bryan and Rowan?
I would actually probably do that over like
picking a tag team that's available from SmackDown. Yeah. That's where I got that from, because I'm like, I can't think of a tag team on SmackDown that's worth this, but I could build a team probably.
Yeah. Who do we put against them though?
Apollo Crews and Chad Gable?
Wow, except Chad Gable's now on 205 Live.
Actually, he's still on SmackDown, I was told.
Oh, he's taking notes on SmackDown, but I thought he was officially traded.
No, he's just popped up over there just for sake of doing so.
Okay.
So that would actually be a really great match, I think.
But that's a mid-card team.
Yeah.
I was thinking of pairing somebody with Randy Orton. But who do you pair with Randy Orton? He's on SmackDown.
Randy Orton for a partner. I would say Andrade?
What about Aleister Black?
Oh, that'd be a sick team.
Black Mass, turn around, RKO!
that would be interesting. Like, somebody come fight me. All of a sudden, out the door opens, Randy Orton comes in and just like brings him out, and they go after Rowan and Bryan. So I would actually really thoroughly enjoy that match. Even, like, granted, and that would be a viable team for them to drop the belts too, if anything.
Yeah. Because they haven't made wood versions of these titles yet, so I can't confidently say that they're going to win every time. I just can confidently say that they're going to beat Heavy Machinery. But this would be a match where I'd be like, yep, it's probably going to be Aleister Black and Randy Orton.
What would be really sick, I think, would be you'd have like Aleister Black make his entrance, and then you'd have Randy Orton make his, but Aleister would do that duck and roll into a ring into like the Indian style thing, then Randy behind him doing his like, you know, thing that he does. That'd be just awesome looking. And like you said, Black Mass into an RKO. That'd be some painful shit.
Beautiful.
That knocked Daniel Bryan right back into retirement.
Wow.
So we're knocking them out here. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet.
I don't think there's really any improving that match. I think it's going to be the new AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. I think it's going to be potentially the show stealer out of this event.
I think the only thing that could improve the match would be a stipulation, but it's the first match. Why do you put a stipulation on the first match?
Yeah.
No.
The first match kind of sets the tone. Anything else makes it higher stakes.
Give those guys like 12 minutes. It'd be perfect.
Yep.
So that's probably the only change that we can confidently predict. This isn't going to be a 20-minute match.
Yeah.
So let's just say over here in brackets, 20+ minute match.
Yeah.
Give it that amount of time, and these guys could steal the show.
Because we're dropping one match anyway. We'll have that extra time.
Yeah, and we can't do a ladder match because we're doing that for Kofi Ziggler.
Yeah, and you don't want to put Joe on a ladder right now.
Well, it makes more sense for Kofi Ziggler because it is a rematch.
Yeah.
Stipulations should apply.
Well, not only a rematch, a world title rematch.
Now, I want to at least touch on the Cruiserweight title match because I know Chris said that this is the one match he's actually looking forward to on this show.
Yeah.
Is there any changes that you could see in this match or replacement for one of the guys in the triple threat? We've got Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa versus Drew Gulak. Any changes that you would make?
No. Keep those three.
Well,
Keep those three and put it on the main card. Give those guys 15+ minutes, make that the opener, and get the crowd red hot.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, no one's not going to give a shit about, Stomping Grounds. Like, if you put that Cruiserweight match in the beginning of the show, that crowd will wake up immediately.
Yes, they would.
They got to do the WCW formula. Put it the first match, let these three guys go, and let them tear it up.
As I did with the predictions, I'm just going to go with the expert. I don't watch 205 Live, so I'm going to agree with you. Leave the match as is.
You have your submission expert, you have your more or less high flyer, and you've got your Japanese strong style guy. There's really no messing with this match. It's like it is pretty much the Cruiserweight perfect storm is what it is.
So we've got one match left. We've got Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn of the Best Friendship, the Frenemies.
I see that, if anything, weirdly enough, being the pre-show match.
Yeah, I feel like that.
Like that'd be the one that gets put for the pre-show because A, there's not really much of a build to it, and B, you have like these other matches that would just kind of make all these other ones seem kind of pale in comparison. There's really no really no payoff for this match in any way, shape, or form. Short of if Big E and Xavier Woods win their match, and towards the end there you have that big swerve with Kofi Kingston, where one of them turns on Kofi. And that way, you start with them winning a match at the pre-show, whole bunch of time in between there for them to take their time, recuperate and whatnot. Then at the end of the show, do a nice little swerve action.
So I went ahead and added that in the ladder match, that somebody's got to turn on Kofi Kingston.
Yes. So, what would you do with it? Would you probably put that as a pre-show match, and that way, right when you finish off the pre-show, then all of a sudden you launch right into the Cruiserweight title match?
I agree. You can make this tag team match a #1 contendership for maybe the Raw tag team titles or the SmackDown tag team titles.
I actually kind of want to step on my own amendment here. I kind of want to put Big E and Xavier Woods in the tag team championship match against Bryan and Rowan.
That would be interesting.
And instead have Owens and Zayn go against Aleister Black and Randy Orton for various reasons.
That can't be on the pre-show.
That would not be able to be on the pre-show, but I want to hear these various reasons.
That's main card.
That match sounds so fucking awesome that I'm actually getting excited on the fact that it's never going to happen.
Or maybe the match leads to various reasons. A feud between Randy Orton and one of the other. Let's say Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, and then you've got Sami Zayn versus Aleister Black.
Yeah.
Boom.
That would be excellent. Actually, I think it'd be I'd probably put it in reverse. I'd probably put Aleister Black versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus
Well, no, because you want Sami Zayn to get beat by Aleister Black, and you want Randy Orton to get beat by Kevin Owens.
That would be pretty cool.
Because between the two of them, Kevin Owens is the main eventer.
Yeah.
Between him and Sami Zayn. And Randy Orton's already been the main eventer. His job now should be convincingly putting over talent that needs to be pushed.
That would be pretty awesome.
And right now, Aleister Black is talent that needs to be pushed, and he can go over Sami Zayn.
Okay. So, what do you think about all that, Chris?
Well, I agree. Honestly, I agree.
Okay, so I'm going to mark out Randy Orton and Aleister Black and go with, who was it? The New Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they fill time by saying nothing. So yeah, I think a tag match being the first match would be better than having individual feuds for some reason.
Yeah.
Becoming a tag match.
Yeah.
Because I always hate that. It's like they're individual feuds. You don't need to add them together. But if you come off of this forced tag match with these two teams that, or at least the one team that's been thrown together, I like it. So, Owens and Zayn. Versus, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Any extra, because I think we lost a match. Yeah, we've only got 8 matches.
I would just leave the 8 matches alone.
Oh, okay.
That way you actually have more time to actually build in the matches. And also, since we returning the that one match into a fatal 4-way, you want to give it a little more time anyway.
That's true. Plus, we've got Samoa Joe versus Ricochet with 20+ minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, we did everything.
That'll be one of those fight forever matches right there.
All right. Now, that actually took way longer than the bracketology.
Yep.
For
go ahead and read off the card one more time so we can just bask in the glory that is the remix card.
So, we've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Aleister Black and Randy Orton. We've got Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa versus Drew Gulak. No change there. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. As long as it's 20+ minutes, we're good. And Bryan and Rowan are now facing Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day. We've got Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. No change there. Becky is now facing Sasha Banks in a blurred lines between Twitter reality and WWE reality match.
Yep.
We've got a fatal 4-way with Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin, Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre for the Universal Championship. And we've got Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler in a ladder match for the WWE Championship. At the end of the match, anybody from the New Day turns on Kofi Kingston and causes him the title.
Fantastic card.
Support, no DQ.
So I want to thank you, Chris, for being on the show. Great episode of the Rapport.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 solid topics, no drifting off too far. But not really supposed to have a format. But we do the plugs now. And where can we find you on social media, Chris?
Find me on Facebook, Christopher Willis. Follow me on Instagram, Chris J. Willis86. Follow me on Twitter, GB Chris 86. Follow my Facebook group, AEW Nation. Mm-hmm. We just hit 7,100 members, so we're doing great for AEW.
I think I got 71.
You'd probably have 100 if you didn't delete people that were inactive, but it's good to have 71 active
Her
members.
fucking favorite wrestler was Ronda Rousey.
Oh shoot! You never even let her in. Shoot.
No, I didn't.
We try to avoid the trolls.
Yes.
On armbar.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. So, speaking of our plugs, we like to plug Twitter so that you can come and find us and join us on the big screen. We do reviews of NXT UK, that's the NXT party. We do the Rated R Report. We can do all kinds of show with you if you want. If you don't watch NXT UK, come join the NXT team. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's Stefan. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stephen R. Osborne, Osborne. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter
at NoDQGerald, and also my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital ARMBAR! Exclamation point!
Nice.
Very soulful, brother. But yeah, just join us there for wrestling discussions, memes, videos. We got a little bit of everything on there.
Yep. So we're on Facebook there. Don't add us. We won't add you back. We did add Chris Willis though, because he is a good friend of the NXT team.
He's good peoples.
Now officially a member of the NXT team, I would say.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Friday. It doesn't matter. He's been on the show.
We have the yellow and orange. We have the yellow and orange lights. You're part of the NXT now.
Yeah, we can put you in the chat group.
It's simple as that. You're good to go.
Oh wow.
Simple as that.
Yeah, we need some new blood. You're great new blood. We're gonna go ahead and throw you in.
We'll add the nickname and everything.
We'll add the nickname. We'll put you in the chat room. you join into the madness. So we'll even try to put you not in this prediction league since we have this video going up, or we already have.
Yeah, it's up.
Yeah, we're already done with this, but we'll find something for you to do.
So anyway, you can also find me on Instagram at osborne.stefan, and I think that's it. You are already on AfterMatch, so do us a favor and subscribe, because we are on our way to 100. At 100 subscribers, we will start doing What's NXT, that's our NXT review show, live on No DQ. Can't do it live on AfterMatch because we need 1,000 subscribers for that.
That's 10 times the amount.
Yeah. So once we get to 100 and we start doing it live on No DQ, maybe our subscriptions will start increasing and we can actually look forward to 1,000 someday. Mm-hmm. But until then, we will try to keep our promise, and I know that Greg Cherry goes live on No DQ. I'm pretty sure we can as well.
Yeah.
So, click that subscribe button, click the bell icon when you subscribe to No DQ. That'll let you know when we go live.
Yep.
Other than that, spread the word. Click the like button that's underneath me. Click that subscribe button underneath Jerry. The like button's in between there, or the share button. And share us on Facebook. Share us on Twitter. Anybody that you know that likes to watch wrestling. Maybe they'll like to watch us bullshit about wrestling.
Call our friends. We're like Calgon. Tell your friends.
So, for the good brother, Chris Willis.
Mm-hmm.
For the general, Jerry Slaughter. I'm the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Have a good night.